And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Journalism is literature in a hurry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not my 2011 Polestar debate catchphrase. Way back in the 19th century, this is what an English Victorian poet, Matthew Arnold, observed. I am not here to hold a brief for the medium I work for, which is 24/7 television journalism. But to say that speed is killing the true spirit of journalism is quite like saying that flying is killing the joy of travel, that IPL is killing the excitement of cricket, that love at first sight is robbing you of the thrill of romance, that fast-track courts are dispensing half-baked justice, and that your ATM cards are less secure than your cash checks presented at bank counters for which you get a token in return. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and I think when it comes to ATMs, Arun Jain and Polaris will vouch for that, for reasons best known to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, if the media, if the fourth estate is to live up to its role, if the media is to remain a watchdog of democracy, if the media is to be able to bark and also bite when it needs to, then the media needs to play two roles. Quite like a good old Rajnikant dual role film, the media should inform society and the media should reform society. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that today's news is tomorrow's history. We all know that today's television bulletin is tomorrow's newspaper front page cover story. Now, I've got my very own 5-point something. I'd ask all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to cross your hearts and tell me, when the stock market crashes, or when there's a bull run, and when your hard-earned money is at stake, would you mind that instantaneous scroll on the TV? When there is a bomb blast and your relatives or friends are injured and are rushed to a particular hospital, or when there are perhaps more bombs that are yet to be diffused, would you mind those constant breaking news updates? When there is an air crash or a tsunami or more tsunamis coming, or a train derailment, or even a torrential downpour, and a holiday declared for your school children, would you mind that news flash? When there is a communal riot and tension everywhere, and your family has to travel out, would you really grudge that minute-by-minute account, that tell-it-like-it-is account of what the government is doing or not doing or can do better? When there is an earthquake or a building collapse and your friends or relatives are trapped in the rubble, ladies and gentlemen, would you mind a blow-by-blow account of the rescue operations? If your answer to all these 5 points, the questions that I've raised, is no, then I've won my case. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe that speed is killing the true spirit of journalism, if you believe that news as it happens is killing the true spirit of journalism, then is it our contention that stale news is advancing the cause of journalism? Ladies and gentlemen, I speak from experience. I'm not a general who has never fought a war. I'm not an armchair critic. I've been there, done that. having covered the tsunami, floods, cyclones, bomb blasts, communal riots, I can tell you with all the emphasis I possess, with all the honesty at my command, that speed and accuracy can go together. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a misconception. It is false propaganda. It's a baseless and wrong assumption that getting the story first means getting the story wrong. I disagree. I vociferously disagree. Ladies and gentlemen, speed, it doesn't mean that when you're quick with a story that you're reckless. Now, I can go on and on. I know that speed also involves sticking to your time. To all those who say that speed is killing the true spirit of journalism, I'd like to again ask them a few more questions. The biggest stories today are more often than not broken on news wires. We all know, since there are so many journalists, esteemed journalist colleagues in the audience, that news wires have no deadlines. They operate on the principle that you should put out a story immediately. And any journalist here or outside worth their iodized salt will tell you that news wires are by and large credible and accurate and informative. And many of us use them as a ready reckoner. Some of the biggest happenings across the world, ladies and gentlemen, are first captured by either amateur videos or by tweets or by blogs or by Facebook wall posts or by ham radio or by citizen journalist initiatives. These are perhaps, many of them are perhaps accidental journalists, but they serve a purpose because they get you news fast. They get you speed news. Now today, ladies and gentlemen, attention spans are shrinking. Let's face it, there are no two opinions about that. Our attention spans are shrinking. We do know that there is a market and there is a demand. There is a demand for tell me what I don't know right now. Not an empty statement. This is backed on a finding on a survey done by Nielsen in 2011, which proves that as far as mobile apps are concerned, there is a 42% demand for speed news, as opposed to a 36% demand for even entertainment. Speed empowers. Speed saves lives. Speed forewarns. Speed galvanizes governments into action. Speed is perhaps what differentiates a journalist from an author. Speed, ladies and gentlemen, according to me, is the essence of true journalism. And the rest, as they say, is history. Thank you.
3 minutes back, Shreya Ghoshal just ate a chili cheese toast. On Twitter, I checked. That's how fast it has become. She's probably not even finished it, and I've told you. And it's going to get faster. So I don't think, I mean, it's okay. I mean, but at the same time, that's just information. You know, it's raw data. Should Shreya Ghoshal be eating a chili cheese toast? You know, will it affect her voice? Will it make her fat? Now that's more interesting. And there is role for someone to interpret that, right? There's role for people to interpret that. And I think the information speed will reach that theoretical level where everyone has access to everything at that moment. There will be typically be a point where there is a video camera on everybody in this world and you can watch everybody. We're getting there, I think. Whereas, you know, whether you're on Facebook, you at least know what all your friends are doing, almost always, especially in young people. So whether you call that news, so even at a country level, you'll know all the major things. You pretty much know when, you know, Pranab Mukherjee has left the Sonia Gandhi's house. And I mean, you know, it's all been coming today. And, you know, so I think that's definitely something that's here to stay. But therefore, you can't really compete on that anymore. I think what makes journalists stand out. For research though, which is what I think it's invaluable, IT as a tool. I'll tell you where all I use IT. I use IT in locations, you know. People say, how did you capture Chennai so well? I'm not from Chennai. I'll tell you one more thing. My in-laws don't live in Chennai right now. And I didn't spend that much time in Chennai anyway, right? How did I capture Chennai so well? You know, I would write, if you read the book, it talks about he took a turn from, you know, Mylapore exit and he goes auto turn to this way to Marina Beach. Google Maps. It tells you how to get to Marina Beach. I think youngsters definitely, especially the educated, they're getting all their news on the net. They're not reading the papers. They read the online version, but they're not reading the papers. Fingers crossed, they're still reading my books. You know, but it's there, it's out there. If with such a speed environment, one of the challenges I always feel is, who will read a book that has taken 2 years to write? That means it was conceptualized 2 years ago. Whereas I know Shreya has already eaten and moved to dessert now, right? Still, people are buying those books because some things don't change. They want to see the world interpreted for them. And that is timeless. The speed is not enough. You know, love at first sight is not the same as marriage. You know, both have their place. You can't live on love at first sight alone. Otherwise, nobody would ever get married. So, yes, nobody is denying. I love speed. I really want to know what Shreya eats for breakfast now. But I don't know why I'm following her on Twitter. But it's kind of nice. She says, I'm hungry. Like, you know, okay, that's so good to know. My life is more complete that I know that. So, but at the same time, it brings in the interpreting that speed. You know, whenever everything is being thrown at you at such speed, the need for interpreters only rises, right? Because there's so much coming in. How do you interpret? So it is creating jobs for that analysis, which wasn't there 20, 30 years ago. I think that's where the healthy marriage should hopefully happen. Yeah. Thank you.